Hi, my name is Mark Walker. I'm the editorial director of the FinTech Times. We're here in Riyadh at Seamless. I'm going to ask, first of all, my interviewee to introduce himself to you, the audience, please.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. My name is Osama Bukhari. I am the head of the banking committee under the International Chambers of Commerce of Saudi Arabia. I've been a banker for a very long time. Now I would consider myself as an entrepreneur, and I invest in the world of fintech and IT in general.
Fantastic. I think, casting my mind back, we spoke quite a while ago for a feature within the FinTech Times about the construction of the core banking systems in Saudi. And I think I might have used the time of like the godfather of the banking sector or something along those sort of lines. But it would seem fitting now that we're back here in Riyadh that we talk a little bit about how the digitalization of the banking sector has been enabled by the very forward-thinking government here in the kingdom.
You're absolutely spot on, Mark. What made all of this happen is actually the government itself, because as we know, Saudi Arabia ranks as the #1 in terms of e-government or API-based government, meaning I literally can avail every single government service through my mobile phone. And guess what? Including transfer of deeds. I literally can, while I'm in the Bahamas, sell a piece of land and transfer the deed to someone else without needing to do anything on a physical manner. So what does that mean? That means for the private sector, whether it's the banking sector or other services or other service providers, they can consume these APIs and be able to provide products and services to the general mass or to the corporates or to the companies, because the base of it is I need to know who I'm talking to. I need to know whether that person or entity is truly who they are, and that is achieved by these APIs. So non-repudiation, making sure that the identity is correct, then everyone is happy to be able to transact.
Yeah, smooth on. And I guess we often think of the kingdom as a leapfrog economy, where we look at it to say Europe, which has had a lot of legacy, old systems which had to come through. Do you think that's been one of the major advantages to the kingdom being able to jump so far ahead?
It definitely is, but I'll tell you one more. It's our trust in our government that really makes it more possible. On a global scale, if you go to the layman person in the street and say, oh, by the way, there's this new service by the government that allows you to do, he says, hang on, how much are they going to take from me? How much are they going to tax me? Am I going to be exposed more so that they know what exactly I'm doing to be taxed? This does not exist in this part of the world, because we truly trust our government. And we're not saying that our government does every single thing perfectly, but the thing is, when there is a mistake, they will immediately rectify it, and they will always be at the back of the consumer. So that's the major difference between us and any other place. Of course, the advancement and the technologies and the leapfrogs, yes, they're absolutely there. But truly, our trust in our government and in the central bank, Osama, is unparalleled to any country that I've even been to or talked to.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, I guess, because actually we were talking just before the video about the term fintech, and I would think that the term fintech actually came about when the Western world lost trust in its banking system, which is possibly around 2008, where Lehman Brothers, many other high-profile banks failed. So because the kingdom hasn't had that experience, it's given it that advantage to be able to progress and move forward, you think?
Yeah, hence a very aggressive target of 525 fintechs by year 2030. So it's not an easy number to achieve, because as we know, as fintechs are created and small companies and ventures, more than 80+% they would perish within 2 years' time, which means we're not going to be able to achieve that number if we didn't have the supporting infrastructure, whether from the funding or the technology, or to make things better for the fintechs and for the SMEs to thrive in such an economy. Absolutely spot on.
And I think possibly, things like the Osama sandbox has been really instrumental in being able to encourage that innovation.
Oh, absolutely. You can almost immediately get into the sandbox. Yeah, initially there was like windows of being able to apply to a sandbox. That window has been removed, and now it's just open all the time because they welcome all the advancements, whether it's B2B, B2C, or even in the capital markets. So the sandbox is actually co-managed by SAMA and the capital market authorities. So whether you want to do something on that side or this side, you always be able to do the sandbox, do the trial, prove that what you're saying is true, and then get a full license and be on your way.
So that thinking about into the future now as well, that there's some challenges when you are market leading because there's no one else to follow. So what do you think the obstacles might be that will be coming up, and how do you think the kingdom will approach those?
Well, you're absolutely spot on. There's always a downside to being, a first mover. I mean, for example, like MySpace.com. That was way before Facebook, but where is MySpace today? So it's really not just being at the forefront, but doing it in the right way and being methodical about it. And I truly believe that's what's been happening in this country, whether at, again, government level or at SAMA. That, like, for instance, when we talk about open banking, yes, there are rules that have been passed on, and we do the open banking, but you can see that the transactional side is still not happening yet. It's like one step forward, two steps back, because we don't want to do it in the wrong way. So honestly, doing it in the right pace is more important than just being the leader. So I think truly, we are relying on taking it in a good pace.
Yeah, almost having to actually sort of hold back a little bit just to make sure that the foundations are solid before moving forwards. Yeah. Talking about moving forward, obviously we wouldn't be able to have a conversation without talking about the word AI. And I know it's a subject that's very close to you as well. We don't have an hour to talk about it, but maybe give me a bit of a summary on what you expect the impact of AI to be having on the banking industry.
Sure. As we all know, AI started in the 50s, so it's not something new. And I always say that. I mean, the very first chat bot that was, again, the leapfrog in AI was in 1966, fully functional. It started in 1964. It was fully implemented in 1966 by Professor Joseph Eisenbaum. And it was mimicking a psychologist to talk to students in Harvard University. So what made AI not thrive until this time? It's because of the computational power and availability of data. Because these are the two most important items for AI to happen. If you have a lot of data and computational power, you could do a lot of number crushing and crunching and data analysis to be able to do that. Having said that, I truly believe that AI is still just about automation and getting rid of monotonous work, and not really on the innovative side, because we've seen so many innovative AI-based programs. They are all over the place.
That's very refreshing to hear. I don't want to hear another thing about AI writing poetry or composing sonnets, because that's what we should be doing. That's what humans want to do and like to do. It should be doing the boring stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I shouldn't spend, as you said, I wrote the poem, but I don't need to refine it and do all the editing work in terms of the acoustics or the visuals or the facade. I mean, let the computer do that, because that's monotonous, repetitive job. But the creativity will always be with the humans.
Yeah. Are there any particular AI use cases that you're seeing at the moment that you think that's actually really going to have an interesting impact?
Yeah, I mean, RPAs, if you think about robotic programs, are really now very much instrumental, especially in the banking sector, because banks do millions of transactions. And if I'm going to scrutinize transactions in the legacy way or in the classical way, that's going to take forever. And we're never going to be able to even pick them up in the right way. But RPAs are able to do that, millions of transactions in seconds. And this is one of the best use cases that I've seen implemented.
Fantastic. And then, so that we don't go on all day, because we could talk forever, we're obviously here at Seamless. What are your impressions of the conference, and what are you looking to achieve over the next couple of days?
Honestly, I love the conference. This year it's been tremendously improved. The organization, the layout, even the crowd management, which I believe it was a bit of a challenge in the previous years, but this year it's honestly great, and we hope to see a lot more events of this quality. And I truly believe that we always learn very fast, and we always come up with better ideas, better events, for the future.
Fantastic. I don't need too many excuses to keep coming back to Riyadh. It is a wonderful place. Thank you very much for joining me on Seamless TV, powered by the FinTech Times.
You're always welcome in Riyadh, Mark, and we welcome everyone as well.